Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of the OnReviewCast. I'm back again, and it's your boy Ash, your host here, Ash. And it's the show where it's your number one go-to review for basically all things media, or all things media we think is cool around here anyway. But yeah, guys, welcome to the show. And if it's the first time you are joining us here today, this is the show where we go through step by step each scene and each sequence through some of our favorite TV shows and media, and we tell you exactly what's going on in each scene step by step. We walk through the episode, and I give my funny antics and my wizzy quips on what I think about the situation and the scene. Forgive me, guys, I'm a little bit stuffed up today. I don't know what's going on with this. I'm not sick. I know I'm not sick, but I'm a little bit stuffed up. Anyway, let's proceed. Just like every other episode, guys, we're going to get our episode breakdown courtesy of Fandom. Season 3, Episode 3 of the Squid Game is actually called It's Not Your Fault. It's the third episode of the season in Season 3 it's episode 3 of Season 3 of the Netflix series. This is good games. And it's the 19th episode of the series overall. Synopsis. Juno's team gets close to finding the island, and Jang Yin-ja makes a desperate plea to help Junie to discuss the cruel proposal. All right, guys, let's get into it. Yeah. So this episode starts off kind of off the heels of what we left off of the big traumatic cliffhanger of where the individuals from the mom and son team basically had to part ways when the mom had ultimately destroyed the son. But interestingly enough, we sidestep that, we get over that real quick, I think, with the directors here, and we find ourselves with two guards actually up against and in a struggle against a surviving player, which is interesting to me. Is like that rarely ever happens. But this time they actually show their masks, and they reveal individuals under their masks, and to my, and I'm sure everybody's surprised, they're actually speaking English. English is what they're speaking. The first reveal of the person who removes their mask is, I think, what even more shocking than that was the reveal of a Caucasian male under this mask. So seeing anybody that's like Asian under these masks is like, whoa. So anyway, other people start to reveal their faces, and it turns out it's a female person under the second mask, and it's like, oh, she's Asian, but he's not. What's going on here? And they speak English, and it's kind of crazy. In that kind of way, it's like it kind of caught me off guard. Oh, and other people start just removing their masks, but it turns out like there are non-Asian people as well. And it turns out these people are actually speaking English, and they are there for fun, having sport, hunting these players that have been left behind in the games that have essentially lost, and hunting them down, essentially hinting towards that this is the Illuminati kind of like rich people fucking foofy entitlement group that is actually out there in the field hunting down motherfuckers like the sick fucks that they are. It's Keon's words, not mine. I'm just saying. Anyway, so the episode title comes up. It's entitled essentially "It's Not Your Fault," and we get a scene essentially back in the dorms, or I won't call it dorms, but back in the space where they're living, they're sleeping, and Thanos' little crony, he's still running around like the little roach that he is looking for his drugs. He's essentially looking for his drugs, and he is losing his fucking mind trying to essentially find these drugs. And I thought that the scene was fucking hilarious, by the way. He goes up to the guard eventually. He's like, hey man, I need to get back in there, I lost my drugs. Like, essentially that's what it was. And he lets out this scream that's so fucking hilarious. Just, I can't even do it. It's like, oh! Jesus! That's what it was. It was kind of like this very hilarious comical screen, and all along we get a shot of the guy that they were picking on during this scene, during this entire thing, the guy that let the girl die during the night raid, he's walking your way, he's like, I got your drugs now, bitch. That's essentially what happens. And I thought that was so justified, and so everything comes kind of full circle. So you put karma, right? You get in what you put out. Anyway, so other survivors start trilling basically back in from the entire fucking game, and one of them is I don't know, like Junie, with the baby, and her essentially a busted leg, and essentially what happens is the basic fact that they're essentially walking in now means, essentially what happens is that after they're walking in, now that they survive this turmoil, it means it kind of brings up kind of questions of like basically what they're gonna do now. I mean, like the basic fact of that, like the basic fact that like they just survive now. What's it gonna be? Which like how is it gonna survive now with this baby? That's what I'm trying to say. Basically, I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, the questions come about is like how she's gonna survive with this baby, but like the issue, one of the other issues is that Junie is like seriously severely injured. She's like limping towards her sleeping quarters, not having survived another day in this hellish hellhole. So we catch up with we got a chance to catch up with one of the individuals that actually, survived that raid. The sniper girl essentially let live, and he is like struggling to get up these stairs. Meanwhile, they have a cutaway scene, and basically she's still trying to essentially help him out in kind of that way. But like, interestingly enough, and like just with every episode now, and now that the players have been defeated from the the knife and the key essentially game, the money is now up to 1.74 billion won, more than enough money to stop the game, right? But this is Squid Game, like they're not stopping, and like Yeon still having defeated Daeho, he is still feeling, like, oh, this is so pointless and it's so worthless and etc. So the next couple of scenes we get to see is like a kind of interactions with these higher ups people, and them, how they roll, how they go. They got the gold mask, they're hiding their identity, which I don't even understand anyway. Pause for a second. I don't really understand why do they need to still like hide their fucking faces. That doesn't really make any sense to me, because they just got the big reveal at the beginning of the episode where they showed all their faces, and they're having this conversation about how they went into the field and how they were able to slaughter all these people that essentially survived essentially the game. And I don't know, maybe this is part of their culture, wearing these different animals for mask sakes, and to show that they were, I guess it is to confirm that they are these higher ups Illuminati people that like essentially are controlling everything within this game, and they are these rich fucks that is basically controlling everything. Something interesting, I don't know if you guys noticed in this episode, the Korean voice actors, I guess the Korean audio I want to say, when you switch it between them, they use different English voice actors for this. It's weird. I think it's a weird thing. Like, if you go into the English version, that's one set of audio voice actors, or I guess maybe their original voices. And then when you go into the Korean, it's like they have English voice speaking people for these characters as well. But it seems like it's a different voice. It seems like it's a different voice, and it's like a different voice actors. That means they had to have two sets of voice actors for the English speaking thing, which I mean, I guess maybe it makes sense because of the production thing, but like I thought that it was kind of weird. Anyway, but this is like a world-renowned like production. People should know about this. Anyway, So we catch up with Mr. Park and his crew out there sailing out in the sea, and the guys from the Rock Paper Scissors essentially. The initial game of the Rock Paper Scissors is when he was like Rock Paper Scissors -1 from essentially the first episode of season 2. He's out there trying to find information on Mr. Park, and he's looking kind of shady and suspicious. He's calling to Juno, I want to say his name is, to the detective, and he's letting him know that like, hey, like this guy is not essentially on the up and up. Like something's going on with this guy. We can't find any fucking information. We need to find more evidence X, Y, and Z. And like no one knows anything about him, and that he should be. The detective should stay on his toes because we can't essentially fucking trust this guy. He says he's not. He says he can't define the background information. Says who he is, who he is. So they're slowly putting together that this motherfucker is actually a part of the game's a part of the Squid Game, and a part of this fuckery that is this island. So anyway, back into the story. It's time to vote again. Voting time. Yay. Anyway. So we get to the vote, and it's time to do the voting, but this time it's essentially the same X's and O's. They get to decide what essentially is, and one by one each of the players go up and they decide to make the choice whether to continue or to discontinue this horrible game. And as they're making their choices, the numbers are going up, the numbers are going down. People are deciding to play the list. And you would think that people would stop at this point, but no. They go on continuing playing. Well, hang on. But before they decided that they're going to continue playing, some character choices are very, very interesting, I think. And who wants to stop and who wants to go, because some of them have swapped and some of them have swapped around considering what they've been through. But when it comes to Jimna, I want to say the old grandma, the mom of the mother and son duo, when it came to them and their in her time to actually vote, she voted obviously to leave, but she does something very, as the synopsis says, she does something very very different. She tries to plead and beg with the individuals that are going up to actually take a vote, and she's pleading with them on the basis of the young baby and the mother, trying to let them live and escape. And it's a heartwarming and touching scene that begs the question of like, are people gonna really listen? For a 0.5 seconds begs the question, are people gonna really listen to this and really hear it? I think at this point though, most of the audience is probably thinking like, of course this isn't gonna be a thing, because like, this isn't gonna work. Definitely, for sure. People are like naturally greedy. They naturally just want to survive, and they just naturally think it's like survival, dog eat dog, and that's basically human nature. So one of the guys then goes up while she's pleading, walks right past her, just like in an everyday how most people would walk past and don't see a homeless person or person that's less fortunate. Sees right through her and votes yes, and pushes right and goes right through her and votes next. And the voting continues, and people just pass this crying old lady on the street with no humility, no humanity, no way to help, no helping aid to her at all. And like, I think that's a bigger commentary essentially on life. Ain't that life? That's exactly how life is, and that's why some of the Squid Games, some of the themes in this is so essentially so moving and so real, because of the accuracy and the legitimacy of the writing and of the story in general as well, the thematics that they play. So now we have the scene, we get back to where they were doing the legal organ transplant organization, and I think they're gonna have a second look. Those guards in pink, they went back down there to have a second look because something's not adding up. Something's not making any sense. They want to know what happened. They want to know to go down there. Actually, it's not a second look. I think the first look. Maybe we get ahead of ourselves. Anyway, first look to essentially make sure to see what's going on there, and they confirm that one of the guards aren't essentially they confirm that one of the guards essentially might have done this and might have massacred the entire place. After during it was the plot, the B plot to essentially the what was going on with the voting. So after the voting concludes, and of course Guion is still so distraught, and he's still chained up to this bed, believe it or not, by handcuffs. He abstains from the vote and he's not allowed to vote, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway because the vote was like 16 to like 9, so they were going to continue to play anyway, so it didn't really matter. Anyway, after they decided to vote, they have this very kind of almost mundane scene where they have these rich fucks, the Illuminati rich fucks, that are judging the shit out of Jimna's decision to murder her son and to try to like June, I'm pretty sure it's Junie, but like I might be messing up her name. The lady with the baby, to live. And it's so fucked that they're just laughing, and they're just like laughing at the situation over their deaths, and like some of them, I will say that it was a balanced kind of thing. I think they had a balanced opinion of like understanding her if she did actually the right thing, and actually wondering like some thought that she was crazy, some thought that she understood her, some were just like nonchalant to it or unbothered by it. And I think again, as a big commentary on how human beings are, how the rich are in general, when it comes to either tragedy or other human beings that are either less fortunate or who are not them, essentially. That's a huge narcissism, basically. So switch back to Captain Park and his fucking crew, and he's still looking for the island, and the detective actually who survived being on the island and who was washed away at sea actually recognizes, with the help of a drone, a beach that's nearby, and wants to go essentially and go and investigate. And Captain Park is like, no man, can't go over there. The reef is built, but boat's gonna get caught up in the reef. And Park is like, and the detective argues with him. He's like, no, I gotta try. You gotta see what's going on over there, and like hesitant, because like he's kind of like catching on to essentially like what's going on, right? That's that like that whole plot scene though. Like, man, like I mean, if there wasn't any red flags that would have told the audience or told that she told the detective that like, listen, like this guy is not to be trusted, that definitely is one of them. He doesn't want you getting anywhere near the island that looks familiar to you. Come on. And then like you just got to call about how his background shit isn't like fucking checking out. Like, really. Anyway, so we get a heartwarming scene about when Jimna essentially is trying to converse with the baby mama, and is trying to make her understand the importance of keeping up her strength as well as probably potentially surviving this. And it's just a tearjerker, and I think it's a part of the writing that's like this is supposed to be, everybody can relate to first of all, everybody can, you can't hate on a baby, right? Like everybody can relate to this maybe like situation of this helpless little thing. It's supposed to tug on our heartstrings in terms of like the writing and dramatic thing. It's like, really, it just, I mean, I think it just, it's a little, in my opinion, it's a little cliched, and it's a little over the top, I want to say. Anyway, so we cut scenes from there. We cut back to the actual, one of the actual main B plots of the sniper chick. She is kind of playing double agent here, or playing the role of the kind of the detective, I suppose, like in the first season. She is found the second in command of the black of this organization, essentially the lieutenant, and she is making her demands, having him essentially at gunpoint, about getting off the island and getting a boat and arranging all these things. I thought this storyline, this B plot was very kind of like somewhat interesting, but honestly, not as interesting as the main plot. But I mean, it kind of shows the perils of like the trials and the difficulties, I guess, of essentially escaping that situation and escaping essentially the island. And for the most part, it's pretty much accurate. I want to say, like, it wouldn't be that easy. You would have to put people put a gun on people to essentially force them to essentially let you go. It's a part of the world building and making it more, like, I think, more intense and more dramatic. But at the same time, I feel like, I mean, I don't know, like I said, it wasn't really as interesting as when the detective actually went to the island. Speaking of which, you get a few flashbacks and a few memories of when the character went back onto the island, and he was able to have a few flashbacks about what happened to him. And so he was right above entering that beach. Next couple of scenes, we have Jimja essentially pleading with Gion about, saving the baby and the baby mama, because she's a hope. So she's pleading with another character, and the only character who could potentially, maybe, I don't even know, give a fuck. And after her plea, it's so devastating. But we find the morning after her plea, she wakes up. She's found dead. She has essentially hung herself because of the situation that essentially happened. And that was because of the entire. Because I guess maybe it's too much for her, but we don't know why. But we found after her plea, she wakes up dead. So there's basically this devastating shock of there's no one left to protect baby moms, and she's essentially standing on her own. She's all on her own. Meanwhile, the rock paper scissors guy is still trying to find some detective work in finding who the fuck is Park. And we find out that Park definitely finds some evidence where essentially after essentially killing his dog, having his dog attack him in his home and shooting his dog in the head, we find hardcore evidence of a bunch of money, along with literally the uniform that the guards wear in his home, essentially. So definitive proof that Park is not to be trusted. And right when they found that out, boom, the police come. Again, live. So you can't really even communicate this with anybody right away. So now, abandoned and alone, the baby moms is like with the only person that could possibly help her, and who decides to help her is 456, our lead character of the Squid Game. Why am I blanking on his name right now? Song-Gion decides to actually help her and help her through this. He does by offering his assistance to the kid essentially carry the baby, and she's hesitant at first, but after a while she comes around and she actually understands that, like, hey, this guy's essentially on my side. So guess what, guys? Now it's time for the next game. And the next game that they figure out is it's gonna be is fucking jump rope. And this spells definitive trouble for the fact that, she's pregnant, and this girl the pregnant lady is pregnant, but only knows she's pregnant, her legs fucking busted up, man. She can't really do too much, right? So it's fucking crazy. And to make matters worse, they decide to put the baby in the game, something I talked about last time, and this is on OnReviewCast, but like, we knew that baby was gonna be in the game. Like, to show that, and I think, again, this is thematic wise, to show the actual cruelty of what these fucking rich fucks are. They put the baby in the game, and they decide to say, hey, everybody's gonna make it across this bridge of jump rope, essentially. So it's a big metal bar that's swinging around in a circle, and they have to jump, essentially, over this bar like in a normal jump rope. But baby moms can't do that because she got her leg fucked up in a knife in the key episode previously. She twisted her ankle, like really rolled it on it like really hard, where you can see like the bone coming out, so it's swelling. She can't run, she can't walk really like that, and so she asked Sung-Gi-yeon to carry the baby across. Now, what should have happened was that Sung-Gi-yeon should have carried both of them on his back, and somehow made it across. But I guess, like as we see as the scene progresses, that was difficult enough, just carrying the baby on his own. But he does make it across, and after he makes it across, something vile happens. But before that, I know I'm jumping all over the place with this story. Before that, we have Namgyu. His name is Namgyu, Thanos' little crony. Yeah, I call him AKA Thanos. Around these parts, we call it Thanos' little crony. Thanos' little crony essentially is freaking out because he is going through drug withdrawals, and the same guy that essentially the same guy that essentially they were picking on, who has the container for the drugs, is like, hey, yeah, I got your fucking drugs, and he freaks out on him again, screaming, just like, oh Jesus, like freaking out, like, oh, I need these drugs, and he's begging literally on his knees to give him basically these drugs or whatever, and the guy that was being bullied is like, no, it's like it's your fucking turn, basically, essentially, because y'all did semi-bad, that's what the name was, and then he throws the cross into essentially into the game, where the jump rope is being swung all over the place, forcing Namgyu to forcing the Thanos' little crony to go into the actual jump rope situation, where he's still having these horrible bad withdrawals, and essentially as luck would have it, like we all predicted, he's jumping and he gets his little container full that's supposed to be filled with drugs, and unfortunately though, when he opens it, he recognizes it's empty, and the shock of this sends him flying off of the very, very tall skyscraper escarpment thing, building thing, I want to say, that they have, essentially cracking his skull open to the floor as he plummets towards the fucking ground. Again, apologies guys if I'm telling this story kind of weird. This is just kind of sort of all over the place, but like it's fine. Anyway, but yeah, that was a beautiful, I think that was a very, that also had some thematic things in it. That was a beautiful scene, but that was a very telling scene, essentially, of how, I guess, like, yeah, spoke to the words of the world, as well as like how drug dealers will do anything and put their lives on the line for these drugs or whatever. But in the end, it's really not worth it. I mean, like, really, that's kind of the place in life. They choose these drugs, but the drugs in the end will just essentially get them killed. Yeah. So like I said, Gi-yeon takes this baby and he makes it all the way to the over at the other end, like I described earlier. And I think that when he took the baby, he should probably took Junhee as well, because the second he made it across, the others on the other side started cheering and started to see that, oh yeah, this is possible, we can do this, fuck yeah, started getting inspired, and they started crossing essentially on their own. And as they're crossing or whatever, the baby mama is being left behind because her leg's fucked up, and well, she's not able to get to the front or the front of the line to get across to the other side. And so the baby starts essentially like crying, and he wants to go to try to help her, but like I said, like the people already started to cross, and once one motherfucker makes it across, he does the most evil, wicked shit and pushes the other players while encouraging them to come to the other cross. The second one of the other players got to the other side, it was like, "Poof!" He kicks them off, sending them plummeting to the death, and he's just kicking people off one by one, sending them to their deaths as they fall and they plummet downwards. and it's bullshit. Bullshit, dirty way to play the game, but like he says, he's playing the game, and that's essentially where the episode ends. A little bit longer, a little bit over, guys, than what we usually do here on OnReviewCast. Actually, not that long, but anyway, that's essentially the end of the episode. I thought this episode was actually pretty well done in terms of essentially everything, or having all the reveals of who those rich fucks are, and getting rid of some very annoying characters like the Clownus little crony, and the guy that was being bullied. That storyline was actually pretty good. And the lore on the lower tier, though, I don't really, like I said, like the B plot storyline of the sniper chick and hunting him down, the guy in the mask, that was okay. Some big reveals about how we have evidence now that the park guy who's driving the boat isn't really a great guy. That was pretty good. So I'm just gonna jump into our next segment. It's called Ash's favorite scene. Yeah. So Ash's favorite scenes. I gotta say, favorite scene out of all of this actually was the beginning scene that I was talking about earlier, how we had the big reveal of the different characters. The different characters of these Illuminati rich fuck kind of circle that's conducting all of this. That was kind of different, and I was kind of like, whoa, they're speaking English. It's like, whoa, wasn't ready yet. Coming in at number 2, though, I think for the favorite scene, I think this is gonna be the plea that is Jinja before she murders and hung herself, and when people just walked right over her. I think this is significant to the story, and it was actually so much truth in that people just see or walk over people that are truly need help or that are in need. And yeah, it might be because of different things, different reasons, because they need help, and because, you know, bigger reasons that they aren't able to help, you know. But I think it portrayed real life shit. And I think coming into the scene at number 1, I think is going to be actually some vile things that happen towards the end. But the ending scene where the guy is actually pushing people off, even though he made it towards the end, basically showing the selfishness, the lack of selflessness, and the more selfishness of that are people within, you know, the world. And he just turns towards Gion saying like, oh, I'm playing by murdering people. That's essentially, you know, not only Squid Game, but I think it's life. Anyway, the OnReview score. Moving on with the episode. Gonna give this OnReview gives Squid Game Season 3, Episode 3. I think it was, you know, it's probably a solid 7.5 out of 10. Out of 5. Like a 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5, like 7.5 out of 10. Like, yeah, somewhere around 7 and 3.5 out of 10. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for listening. If you listened to all the way through my breakdown of this episode, you know, and what I thought and shed my opinions, and you like this, thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate it, guys. For listening here on the OnReviewCast. Check me out on all of the socials, the Twitter, Facebook, not too much on the Instagram, I think. But don't forget to support us here with Patreon. We do have the Patreon, guys. Every little bit helps, or any little thing that you can do helps, and you get your name shout out here on the cast as well. Maybe a little song, who knows? And go ahead and check out the Patreon and see what you guys can get. And lastly, guys, don't forget to check out some of my music, Ashley Anomaly and Anomaly Beats, on Spotify and everywhere, basically, essentially, where you get all your streaming services, Apple Music, and all that, etc. And be on the lookout for some new music. Like, if you like Linkin Park rap, rock kind of style things, like I would look out for that. I would look out for this music. It would be great if you could listen. It would be amazing. Anyway, okay, that's it.